Russell Brand gets canceled. The U.S. government loses a $1 trillion fighter jet. And we're going to take a closer look today at Biden's Build Back Better. Stay tuned, everybody. For the best meat you have ever eaten, check out samsbutchershop.com. Go and shop around. When you go to checkout, enter the promo code Triple T for a 5% discount. Check it out. Hello everyone, Trailer Trash Tim. How's your mama and them? Welcome to the channel and a happy Wednesday to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you joining in with us. Real quick, if you would be sure to like this video down below, give me the old thumbs up. You are cordially invited to subscribe to the channel if you meet our two qualifications. If you haven't heard of them already, you must not be a wearer of face masks, and you cannot be an illegal alien. You have to be a legal resident of your nation. You meet those two requirements and you can subscribe. So come on, join us. We'd love to have you in our growing channel. All right, let's get to it. All the links are down below, contact information, all that jazz. Avail yourself of all that. All right. Russell Brand is in the news, and we need to address this this morning here on this bright Wednesday in Alabama. Russell Brand is a British, I guess, a comedian, and he has been very vocal in recent history about a lot of things, and he is historically, I guess you would classify him as a left-leaning progressive or modern-day liberal. He's certainly no conservative. He's done a lot and said a lot of outlandish things in his career. I've never known that much about him, never been that much of a fan of his, I suppose. I was kind of ambivalent toward him one way or another. I couldn't tell you a whole lot about him, but he has recently, of course, been in the news big time because he joins a growing list of people who have been canceled in this present-day woke Western culture. What's this all about? Well, Russell Brand had the audacity to speak his mind on some scams that we are going through in current culture, particularly this. He spoke his mind on what a scam this was and all the peripheral issues surrounding this. Now, it needs to be said, Russell Brand is no conservative, as far as I can tell. He's not like a right-wing extremist by any stretch of the imagination. He never was. He isn't now. But he began to make some sense, saying some logical things concerning this. And because of that, we have some charges drummed up against him from his past where he's done some, I don't know what they say he's done. I mean, I could generalize, but really what's the point? This has happened to other people. It's happened to Tucker Carlson. Anybody who dares to speak their mind or speak what they perceive to be the truth about this or any other issue, if you dare to speak the truth about the Biden crime family, you're going to be subject to cancelization. For myself, I don't really care. Who am I? I mean, I'm not a big celebrity, so, I'm kind of under the radar currently, so I'm not worried about that at all. But when somebody says something accurate and profound in Western culture anymore, if somebody has the audacity to speak the truth, they can expect to have their career ended. They can expect attacks from the left primarily, because you're just not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to speak the truth. You're just supposed to regurgitate the lies that we are told on a daily basis. Look at what they've done to him. Look at what they've done to Tucker Carlson. I don't think it's hurt Tucker all that much. It kind of liberated him in a way. Now he can do exactly what he wants to do without the filter of faux news hanging over his head. But one thing in particular that gets me about Russell Brand is this. Our beloved YouTube, where I currently am, and I'm working on Rumble right now, trying to get that going, because I figure if this thing ever really takes off, I'm probably going to be deplatformed, but that's okay. I had life before YouTube. There'll be life after YouTube, but whatever the case, YouTube had the gall to deplatform Russell Brand based on the allegations that are out there against him. He is supposedly, I don't know, sexually assaulted some women from years ago. All we have are allegations. There's no proof, so far as I can tell. But it didn't take YouTube long to deplatform this man. And I don't think it's because of these allegations from the past. I think it's safe to say that this is maybe one of the reasons they deplatformed him. I saw a video of Russell Brand, who appeared as a guest on one of Bill Maher's, boy, that guy's a prize, isn't he? On one of it, I don't know if it was Politically Incorrect or whatever show he hosts where he has a panel of people, and Russell Brand is there trying to speak, if you will, what we say, truth to power, and Bill Maher is doing his best to shut him down. By the way, that show, Politically Incorrect, it was so misnamed. His show was the epitome of political correctness, as is Bill Maher, his cheese is falling off his cracker. That guy is he's not too tightly wrapped. Not all the bulbs in his chandelier are lit. But anyway, that's another video for another day. But because he had the audacity to speak his mind and speak the truth about that nonsense, he's been shut down and deplatformed by YouTube. Now, I can appreciate the fact that YouTube is technically, I guess, it's a privately held entity owned by the Alphabet company, just like Google. Alphabet owns Google, of course. So if they want to deplatform you, it's not like they need anybody's permission. But, you know, in theory, in America, we've always had this innocent until proven guilty. You can get charged with a crime, but there's always the presumption, at least in theory, that you're innocent until somebody proves that you committed the crime. Only then, when you're judged by a jury of your peers in a court setting, can you be called guilty. Well, that doesn't matter to YouTube. It doesn't apply with them. All you've got to do is say the word that somebody did something, and they're going to deplatform you. Never mind the fact that there's no proof of this whatsoever. It only just happened a few days ago, but he's out of here. He's been ejected, despite the fact there's no proof. All we have are accusations. So it's fair to say they didn't deplatform him because of what he's accused of doing. This is why he got deplatformed, folks. It's just outrageous. It's just ridiculous. We live in a land of NAZIS here in America and in the West. It's just ridiculous. I don't know how they can do this and get away with it, but hey, we're still holding the banner high and we're going to carry on. Now, I've got to get on to this F-35 fighter jet. The missing fighter jet, it's been found now. But this is just rich with irony. The F-35 fighter jet is a fighter jet in the military fleet of the United States. And, of course, Lockheed builds this fighter jet for other nations as well, Israel, Norway, other nations, Turkey. They're buying this fighter jet. But I want to tell you something about this fighter jet that went missing in the United States. Where did they find it? Was it South Carolina or something like that? I think the pilot jumped out and bailed out, but the jet's gone. But listen to some facts about this fighter jet. The F-35 price per unit, per jet, including ancillary costs like depot maintenance, ground support equipment, and spare parts, is $110 million and up, depending on the model. They make the A, the B, and the C. The C is used by the Navy. These totals do not include the nearly 1.3 trillion, that's with a T, in life cycle cost to operate and sustain the aircraft over its life cycle, making it the most expensive weapon system in U.S. history. You got that? These F-35 fighter jets cost somewhere north of $110 million a piece. And this one just vanished. Now, my question is this: how on earth do you lose a $110 million fighter jet? How does that happen? It was here one minute and the next thing, hey, has anybody seen our fighter jet? Where'd that F-35 go? Anybody seen that? How does that happen? The irony of this that I want to point out is simply this. The American government can lose a $110 million fighter jet, but it can find that $600 transaction in your bank account or on Venmo. Is that ironic to anybody? So you can lose a $110 million fighter jet, but they want to know what you did with that $600 deposit. Or when you took $600 out of your ATM, or you made a $600 transaction on Venmo. That we got to know about. We're going to get one of our 87,000 IRS agents out to check that out and see exactly what it was. What were you doing with your money anyway? You took $600 out of your account. What were you doing with that money? Huh? You want to explain that to us? Well, what about your F35? No, don't worry about that. We'll take care of that. The government does nothing but lie to us. That's all they do. They are utterly incompetent. They show this to us every single day. I want to move into a different area right now because I want to talk about Joe Biden's Build Back Better program. You remember this? We were told that when he took office, we were going to fix everything that Trump screwed up and we're going to build back better. You remember that? Everything now is supposed to be better since Joe Biden, this genius, this Einstein, took office. Now that he's the president, things are going to be so much better. Well, I want to contrast the tenure thus far of Joe Biden with the way things were on the last day of Donald Trump's term in office. Shouldn't have been his last day because he didn't lose the election. Did I say that? Yeah, I said that. But here's what we've got, folks. Here's a list for you. Off the top of my head, it's not comprehensive, but here's what we've got since Joe Biden took office. We have, since Build Back Better began, we have added $10 trillion to our debt. Our debt now is somewhere north of $32 trillion, an unfathomable number. It's never going to be brought back down to zero. That's never going to happen. There is going to be a great default eventually. That's what's going to happen. So we have more than $10 trillion added to our debt since Build Back Better began. We have a war in Ukraine that Biden exacerbates by continually pumping more money, more treasure, more supplies, and more bodies into. We've got no business being there. It is none of our concern. It has nothing to do with the vital national interest of the United States. All it is a big, fat money pit. That's Build Back Better. Here's what else is Build Back Better. We have lawlessness in our cities. I want to address this real quick. If you're a tourist that's coming to America, my advice to you is this: don't go to the cities. Go to the countries, meet regular people like me, okay? Stay out of the cities. Just stay out of them. It's not safe. You shouldn't be there. And here's some advice that I have for everybody that's watching me right now. Everybody sit up and take notice and listen to this. Write it down if you can't commit it to memory. This is life advice that could save your life. Here it is. Stay away from hoodies. You got it? Stay away from hoodies. If you want to save your life, stay away from hoodies. If you're walking down the street and you see somebody else walking down the street that's wearing a hoodie, get away from them. Avoid them. Avoid them at all cost. Stay away from the hoodies. The hoodie, you know who wears hoodies? People who have bad plans for you wear hoodies, okay? People that are entering convenience markets that are wearing hoodies, if you're the clerk, if you're the cashier, brace yourself and do what you need to do. You know who else wears a hoodie? Good old John the Vegetable Fetterman, senator from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. He wears a hoodie, probably wants to wear it on the Senate floor. And they'll probably let him do it because, after all, he's a Democrat, right? They get away with anything. Stay away from the hoodies. I watched a video the other day from Philadelphia. This man was standing there and he was tending to his cell phone, punching something in on his cell phone, sending a text or something. Someone in a hoodie walked past him. As soon as they got past him, they turned around, took out this, and blew his brains out. Got it? That's not an isolated incident. That happens frequently in the United States and probably in the West. What's the best thing for you to do? Stay away from the hoodies. That's my tip of the day. You'd be wise to take that to heart. Here's what else we have with Build Back Better. We have a woke military now. We've talked about that recently in our channel. We have 40-year high inflation under Build Back Better. Thanks, Joe. Thank you for that. We have prices going through the roof. Interest rates are sky high and going higher. The price of goods and services, food, fuel, going sky high and going higher. Inflation is rampant and out of control. That's Building Back Better. Thank you, Joe. We are on the brink of World War III. It need not be that way. Do you know what President Trailer Trash Tim would do on the first day? I'd be calling Mr. Putin on the phone and say, buddy, we got to talk. I'd be calling Xi Jinping on the phone and saying, hey, let's have a chat somewhere and de-escalate what is going on in the world. I would say to Putin, Ukraine is your business. I'm not going to meddle. Do whatever you're going to do. It's none of our business. You may not like what's going on in Ukraine, but it is not concerning to our vital national interest in America. We need to de-escalate this and pull back from the brink of World War III, folks. You can only poke a bear so many times until he's going to respond. Lord. Build Back Better. Now we have communists and Marxists throughout the American government. That's by design. That's Build Back Better. We have the normalization of pedophilia. That's Build Back Better. Nothing wrong with that, right? We have extortion and bribery and even a degree of nepotism in our government. Hunter and his daddy making money off of the office of the vice presidency and now the presidency. We have human trafficking, which is rampant. That's all under Build Back Better. We have, of course, open borders with thousands of illegal aliens streaming across our southern border every day. That's Build Back Better. We have a loss of energy independence. Do you realize under Trump we were a net exporter of oil to the rest of the world? Now we are dependent once again on OPEC. And guess who gets to set our prices now? OPEC. They can do that by controlling the flow of oil into our country and determining how many barrels in reserves they're going to grant to us. So we are at their mercy once again. It need not be that way. We've got plenty of oil under our feet here. We could easily be energy independents. We were before. We can do it again, but not in Uncle Joe's world. No, this is Building Back Better. Paying more for fuel at the pump when it's not even necessary. That's somehow better in the demented mind of Joe Biden. We have higher taxes now under Build Back Better. You have your dollar doesn't go nearly as far, and you're having to pay more in taxes because of Build Back Better. And we have a bigger IRS thanks to Uncle Joe. Thank you so much, Joe. This is Build Back Better. Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's better? Ronald Reagan asked in the debate against Jimmy Carter back in 1980, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? It was a devastating question, and Trump could ask the same thing. How many of you Americans that are watching me right now, even if you support Joe Biden, I can't believe there's that many of you, but how many of you are better off than you were when Trump left office? Can anybody look at the camera and honestly say you are better off? You're not better off. That's the truth. And I just gave you a list of several reasons why you're not better off. I just gave you a list that demonstrates and proves why Build Back Better is nothing but a complete and utter fraud, a sham, and a scam. There you have it. Hey, give me your comments down below on what's going on with Russell Brand, this F35, and Joe Biden's Build Back Better. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for being with me, everybody. I hope you have a tremendous Wednesday. This is Trailer Trash Tim, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.